Hey everyone, good afternoon. Oh, it's a Monday already, but I'm feeling good because I've been from a run this afternoon. In a minute, I'm going to speak to Jason Herring from the band The Mystery Plan, who you can see I joined them recently in a virtual pub somewhere on my screen. But first, before we talk to him, let's have this.
I need to get going, Mel. See you later.
Jason, good afternoon. Hello. And thanks for joining me. Did you enjoy the poster, by the way? Just bring that up.
I love it. I felt like I was almost there.
Yeah, well, so did I, almost.
Yeah.
like most of us have been for most of this year, really, haven't we? So almost there most of the time.
Yeah, there in spirit, but physically stuck at home watching television shows.
Yeah, or writing music,
or writing music, which was a good soul-saving thing to do. I wouldn't have made it without having a studio in the house for sure.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I must admit, I wouldn't have made it without having a guitar and some music to listen to. So, yeah, it was important, especially during that first lockdown. My eldest learned how to play rudimentary guitar during that first lockdown as well. I wonder actually how many people actually learned to play guitar in that first lockdown period. I expect a fair few.
Well, I know of several people that learned how to do a bunch of different things. Like myself, I started learning how to video edit. My daughter started drawing a lot more. A lot of my other friends learned how to carve wood and, a lot of things.
Wow, carve wood. That's an impressive thing to learn. Actually, what sort of carvings are we talking? Sort of like mushrooms and stuff, or more intricate stuff? Or
I think they started off with doing names and like little scenes on a board, and I think they're graduating to like mushrooms and people's faces, which hasn't been working out that well. But God bless them.
Hard, isn't it? That's hard.
Yeah, it is.
You've got to be able to do portraits first before you can even carving someone's portrait. That's pretty.
How old level. Is your oldest?
He's 19.
Okay, right on. Well, you don't look old enough to have a 19-year-old, but
thank you. Well, I am I am the blessed 50 this year, so.
Yeah, same here. Right on, my man.
So, which is where life starts, I believe. Or they tell me that. Right? I'm not sure. I'll let you know when I actually get there. It's in September. When's your birthday?
I just turned 50 on May 4th.
Oh, you've had yours. Congratulations. Well
yes.
Done. Did you get anything nice for your birthday?
Well, we were kind of on lockdown, so we just had a couple friends who've been vaccinated come over and got a little drunk. So that's kind of what we did.
That works. Did you buy yourself a present? Did you get yourself a new music related present at all in any way, shape or form?
Well, other than having a record buying habit, I think this year the present was actually getting our new record on vinyl and having that done. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Well, I think that's a fabulous present. That beats an awful lot of presents. I'm waiting for the day that I die, actually, and then I'm going to turn myself into a vinyl. Well, I won't do it myself.
Right.
I have to get someone to do it for me, but because I just think it's a waste of ashes otherwise.
Well, what would you put on it? Would you tell a story? Would you play some of your favorite songs? What would you put on it?
Well, I'm hoping to, before I get there, I'm hoping to actually record some songs to put on it.
That's the way to go. I dig it.
Yeah. So that it's, and maybe just leave it there and not anybody play it for years until someone discovers it.
Mm.
Yeah. That would be cool.
Or, let your kids, play it at parties,
Yeah, loud.
have a DJ, mix some stuff in there, that'd be pretty cool.
That would be great, wouldn't it? Hey, you see, I come up with all these ideas. So tell us a little bit about these other wonderful people that we see here, the Mystery Plan. Tell us a little bit about how you all got together. Why the Mystery Plan? What's the mystery?
The mystery at the time was I was wanting to get back into music. Our child Greta was old enough that I could, she could play by herself and I could start writing. And I wasn't sure what would come out because I'm into electronic music and house music, and I'm also into 4AD stuff and creation records, and and also like soul music and funk and jazz. So I wasn't sure.
That's a lot, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
I come from a music family, so I was blessed to be exposed to a lot of things early on. And I just wasn't sure what any of the music would sound like. Songs would vary from genre to genre. And I also wasn't sure what the lineup was going to be because it changed an awful lot with getting people to perform with me over the years. So it was a mystery what was going to happen. And I finally talked my wife into coming in and singing on some songs, which was a bonus because, she's a good looking woman and has a wonderful voice, and that really helped out. So, that kind of
saves arguments, doesn't it? Because, what am I doing this evening? I'm doing the music thing.
Well, it also creates more arguments like, why won't you, play this right there? And I need this lyric here. And, which is a fun thing to argue about, I guess.
Yeah, that's a fun thing to argue about. Yeah. Much better that than who scratched the dishes or,
Right. Or
who's burnt the dinner.
The kitty box, the litter box.
Yeah. No, that's one of the great things to argue about. And you mentioned some really diverse kind of influences there. Was it from your mother or your father's side in terms of music, or both of them? Or did they have different musical tastes?
Well, my dad was a DJ on radio in the South. He started, in the 60s. And so, he worked for rock and roll stations. And so at a very young age, I would go into his music room and steal his records and listen to him at night. And then he would eventually start taking me to concerts, and I just, fell in love, and I wanted to do that. And so I became a musician and a DJ, and I feel very lucky because, I was exposed to Otis Redding and Steely Dan, in the 70s, and it just really, changed my trajectory music wise, because we're listening to, what was it? I don't know. I mean, I like Olivia Newton-John, but something different from radio stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Something with a little bit more meat to it, maybe, should we say? Not just pop.
Yeah, something. I was really attracted to emotional content. I like feeling things when I listen to stuff. Not really. I wasn't really big on like heavier music, like metal and stuff like that. I wasn't really into, but because I just was never that angry. I got into the sad stuff, like the Smiths and stuff like that, and Prefab Sprout, which really, that I like feeling things.
Hey, life's not complete till your heart misses a beat, mate.
Oh, yay. I love it. Right on. On our last record, we were doing a cover of Bonnie. It was going to be a B-side to the single, but COVID hit, and we decided that putting out a single wasn't the best thing. So we just included it on the record, and we got Neil Conti, the drummer for Prefab Sprout, to produce and mix it.
So wow, that's superb, isn't it?
Yeah, it was great. And we did a different arrangement. We were just trying something new, but Neil loved it, and we had a good time, so it was good.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Well, I'm sure Paddy would have loved it as well.
Well, I hope so. I hope he's heard it.
Yeah. I reckon if Neil was involved, then he probably has. So that's a great thing. Oh dear.
So.
There you go.
I dream about it. I tell you what, at 50, I'm like, oh my God, I hope he listens to it. You know.
So, in terms of the electronic music that you said you got into, what sort of bands were we talking about there? What sort of influences was that?
Well, of course, it started off with Thievery Corporation, you know, and I remember I wasn't really into house music until I came to London in 2001, and I went to some clubs with a girlfriend there, and man, I fell in love with house music. And so when I came back, that's when I started getting into Thievery, and then of course Kruder and Dorfmeister and Tosca and Tricky, you know, all of that kind of stuff just really made me happy. I love listening to that stuff.
Yeah, did you really like the Bristol sound?
Oh, I love the Bristol sound, Massive Attack, all that stuff, man. Yeah, it made me very happy. We went and saw Massive Attack with Elizabeth Fraser on the 20th anniversary of Mezzanine a couple years ago, and I think I cried a little bit at that one. That was a good one.
Well, there you go, and you got the crossover there between your 4AD.
Yes, yeah, Coath Twins and Massive Attack. I mean, you
and
can't
Massive Attack.
Yeah, absolutely
tremendous. In terms of when you went to those clubs, those first club experiences in London, what was sort of playing in terms of music? It was house music, but was there, especially around that time, was there a kind of a gospel vibe or a soul type vibe to the undertow of that, etc. as well? Or
yeah. I mean, you know, that was coming right off of Primal Scream and stuff like that. So you still heard some of that indie in there, but I mean, it's 20 years ago at this point. Yeah, it was. I just remember being floored by some of the arrangements and the bass, you know, and when that kick would hit, or like, you know, that a bass line would run through you, yeah. And that's kind of what really had me, you know, cheesing out, I guess. I don't know.
Well, you mentioned Primal Scream, and of course Screamadelica, that album, etc. I mean, that kind of mixture at that time between the club music, those club beats, etc., but with the live instruments as well. I mean, is that something you felt you could take into what you were going to do?
Yes. And going to see like Thievery Corporation perform with like 7 people on stage, and to see and watching how they did it, it was amazing. And you know, and also I was lucky enough to see the Orb perform a few times,
right,
you know, back then. So you got that hippie, the whole hippie thing, along with the dance music, which was really interesting, and I really took a shine to it, I guess.
Yeah, well, I completely agree. I was actually DJing myself in London at that sort of time.
Oh yeah. And the club that we went to was Fabric, which I really liked. Fabric, and there was another club up in Camden. I can't really remember now, but Fabric was amazing, and I loved that place.
Yeah, we had a little club down Charlotte Street, just off Tottenham Court Road. And one of the things that we used to do quite a lot was we used to have, during the set as well, we used to have like live percussion and live trumpet. And
we've done that as well too. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, you know, it's that kind of feel that you can take club music and just stretch it that little bit, you know, so that it's that little bit looser, and it's, you know.
Right around that time when I got back from London, I had a residency at this club called Tonic here. And on our Friday nights, I would have some of our, you know, instrumental records that I would play, but I would have other people that were on the label come and we had a soul singer that was in the group Catskills Project, and she would come and sing over the instrumental tracks live, just kind of improv. And we had our saxophone player come in and perform while I was DJing, and that, the crowd really got into it, and it was a lot of fun.
Oh, definitely. And I think the dancing got better because of it.
I think so, yeah.
It just loosened people up a little bit to have that kind of live impact going on, and it was fun, and it makes it slightly more challenging for the DJ as well, which I think is great as well, to have some live musicians there. Just to think, you have to think a little bit more about what you're putting on next, because you kind of had to watch, like, especially with a singer, you have to, kind of watch, and when you see her get ready to start singing something, maybe pull the bass out a little bit, while she's singing, and then, kick it back in at the right syllable, So you're not drowning people out.
Exactly. You don't want to clunk it up by playing over someone. So you kind of had to pay attention to what they were doing, and you can bring the breaks in, by watching those guys, and I love that.
I love it. We've had some comments. Here we go. Euphoric house dance was my thing years ago. Tiesto, Van Dyke, motorcycle, Nayland Kane. Brilliant. Look at this. Throwing shapes, big fish, little fish. Now, I don't know about you, but actually, I understand the whole throwing shapes thing. But that was one of the reasons for me that I took up DJing, was actually I didn't want to dance. Right. My dancing is dreadful.
Oh, I hear you, man. I'm right there with you. Hiding behind the DJ booth, and you can kind of catch a groove for a second, but I'd rather be behind the DJ booth than having people watch me.
I find one hand there and like the other hand doing this in time. Yeah, that's fine, right? Yeah. But then get me out on the floor and I start doing dad moves, and then
you're flailing about a little bit, like you're at a Grateful Dead show. I don't know.
It was just so much easier to be cooler behind the decks. Yeah, no, absolutely. So you were with me on that one. Oh, brilliant. Now listen, so you've just released a single. Is the single out?
The single's out, yes, and the album comes out on the 16th.
Wow.
So the single and the video are available, and it's with Big Supreme is taking the vocal duties on that one. He's a rapper here in Charlotte, and it's a kind of a slight departure from what we normally do, but I'm really enjoying it, and it's getting some good coverage here, and we're liking it.
Yeah. I was going to ask, how did you meet Big Supreme?
I'm best friends with this guy named Smitty. His DJ name is that guy Smitty, and we have a down tempo group called Muchacho that we've done together, but I've known him for 30 years, and this is his little brother, and we've always gotten on and really loved each other, and finally we had a chance to actually work together, and I'm really happy that we actually finally got to do it. So
when you say it's his little brother, how old is Big Supreme now?
Big Supreme, gosh, I'm guessing, I want to say 45, 43 maybe, something like that.
So he's not so little,
No, he's a grown folk for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Is there someone rapper wise or someone else musically wise that you'd really love to work with?
That I would love to work with, or that I have loved working with?
Oh, well, let's do both. Let's be greedy.
Okay. Well, I feel very blessed that I've gotten to work with John Fryer a whole bunch. He's been, my favorite guy for decades, since I was a teenager. And that's always nice. And working with Ian Masters from Pale Saints was great. And of course Big Supreme and Neil Conti, and I just love these cats. Of course I would always love to play with, I'd love to work with, Robin Guthrie. I would love to do a record with Robin Guthrie.
Yeah. What would that sound like? What would that sound like?
I don't know. God, I would probably be too nervous where I couldn't play anything, you know. And you know, our friends, the Velt that we do a lot of tours with here in the States, you know, they've done a record with Robin and they're good buddies with him, and so they're telling me, Jason, don't worry about it. He's great, and I'm like, I can't meet him. I'm too scared, you know.
So this could actually happen. This is the thing.
Well, yeah, we're 2 degrees of separation, I guess, at this point. So, and
just
of course, you know, I'd love to work with some of the Thievery guys. I'm friends with those cats. I'd love to do a record with those guys and the Tosca guys. You know, those were kind of dreams, like next level.
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking about the next Mystery Plan record that we're doing. I've been recording some new stuff, and I think it might be a little more deeper electronic.
Right.
So that might be a nice little in on those cats. I can send them some tracks. Hey, what do you think?
Yeah, an opportunity. Maybe a Massive Attack remix as well on the
Oh
track.
my God, I would just die if that happened.
Yeah, well, look, never say never.
Indeed. I never thought I'd ever work with John Fryer. You know, we've been on 3 records together now. So I'm just tickled silly that I've been able to do that. He's such a lovely man, and anything's possible these days.
We're putting the feelers out there. If any of these people watch this at all,
if you're watching.
And if you'd like to, well, in fact, I might even tag them in cheekily afterwards. I've done it before. You know, if you watch this back and you're thinking, do you know what? Jason's a nice guy. I'm going to actually give him a call. We're going to do this. So that would be good.
That would be great, and I would love you forever. Yeah,
Massive Attack. We're definitely getting there. Maybe a bit of Portishead as well. Maybe that.
Oh man, Portishead. That was, you know, there are a few records that have changed my life. You know, John Coltrane, Interstellar Space, Verb, Storm in Heaven, Portishead, Dummy. You know, like, oh my God, what is this? It just changed me completely. Radiohead, OK Computer, you know, all those are life-changing records.
Yeah, I can remember. Definitely, I remember Portishead, Dummy coming out, and you just said that voice with that kind of broken beat, and you just think, where is that coming from?
What is that? How did they do that? I mean, it was so good, it was scary, you know.
Yeah,
it was like I was overwhelmed with emotions. That was one of those, you know, I like to feel things when I listen to a record, and that was one of the ones where you're just like, whoa, I can't control it.
Yeah,
it was life-changing. And those guys, you know, was it Jeff Barrow? Right? Is that his name from Portishead? But I'd love to work with those cats.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got the singles out. When's the album? You said 16th. You said
it comes out on the 16th. Yep.
Fantastic. And the name of the album?
It's called "You Also Have Eyes."
Well, you do.
And of course, it's odd because it's an album that you listen to, but but yeah, it's called "You Also Have Eyes," and it has, you know, got some tracks from other albums that we put out before that I feel like they needed to get another chance go around, because we have more people listening to us these days than back then. So, you know, and we wrote, I think we have 3 new songs on this, and the rest are from other albums.
Yeah. And what can we expect from those new songs across those 3 songs for people that obviously haven't heard it yet?
Well, the first one that we did was called "Wonder Why," and we did that one with Peter Anderson from the Ocean Blue, and that was like one of the first songs we wrote over COVID during quarantine, and I was able to, you know, record it here in the studio, and we would go into the other studio for the drums and stuff, and then send it to him. And then we did "Silver Lining," which is the hip hop version, you know, hip hop song that's on the album. And I also did a very sad ambient track called "Weird Things Humans Do," and it's I was having a bad week. I was just getting depressed because of COVID and stuck in the house, and did that one. So it's kind of across the board, a nice little melancholy pop song, a hip hop song, and a sad ambient song.
Well, and I think that's one of the things from all of the people that I've talked to over this period that seems to be punctuating a lot of music is this a lot of different sounds, because it's been a right roller coaster emotionally,
Indeed.
And
yes.
I think actually that seems to have punctuated people's music, that you can actually hear that, one track's coming out and it feels quite up and euphoric and then the next minute it's down, and it's like, but I think that's where people's lives have been. So it's bound to come out in the music, even though no one wants to write an album about COVID, because no one does. They
kind of have, though. I mean, it's in there, even whether they say it or not. And Weird Things Humans Do, it's how weird people are about COVID, and being locked in a house or not wearing a mask out somewhere, like why the hell would you not do that?
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting in years to come listening to music from this period.
I agree. And what I also am looking forward to, and I think I've already seen it happen a little bit, is much like 100 years ago when they came out of the pandemic here in America, then we had an explosion of music and art in the 1920s. And everybody was, tired of being down and worried. And so you had the Roaring Twenties and jazz and all of that came in. And I hope, and I'm feeling it's going that way, that we're going to see something like that happen now, with a resurgence of art and people just ready to get out there and be amazing, because they've been locked up for 15 months.
Oh, I agree. And I think one of the things as well is it's been fantastic in that it's actually got people that would never have done it to do it.
Yeah.
And I'd say they'd never have done it. I think it's always been there in their soul to do it. But, life has got in the way. I interviewed a lady the other day that, said she grew up, she loved music, etc., but then marriage, kids, job, etc. All that happened, but now, and partly because of what we've all been through in the last year, it's made a lot of people re-examine their life and just go, do you know what? Sod it. I'm doing it.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think that's so I think you're right. I think we're due a, massive explosion, a massive attack.
There you go. Bam, I was waiting for it.
Massive attack of music.
And I got to tell you, things in Charlotte are starting to open up again, and I'm DJing out in clubs again, and live venues are opening up in August. So we are going on tour with the Velt in August and doing finally playing shows again, and I'm so excited to do that. Just to feel the energy from the people out there, and people just getting out and drinking beer and chilling. I just can't.
Sounds so good, doesn't it? Listen, Jason, my friend, it's been marvelous. If you're ever this way, I am just south of Bristol.
Oh, nice.
Right, so
I would love to come visit. Yeah, definitely.
If you're ever this way, put Bristol on the map in terms of a DJ set or playing or whatever, and I'll be there.
Well, that's great, and I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with me today.
No, it's a pleasure, and we're trying to get a few friends along for the evening from Portishead or Massive Attack or whoever.
Well, hey guys, hey, I'm Jason.
This is Jason. He'd love to work with you.
Yeah.
See what we do here. We facilitate.
Well, I love it.
Jason, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for joining us. If people want to hear more of the mystery set, mystery plan. Where do we actually get this? Are we talking Bandcamp? Is there a website?
Yeah, we're on Bandcamp. All of our records are up. You can pre-order the new one. You also have eyes. You can pre-order the vinyl, the CD, or the digital there. YouTube, Amazon. I mean, it's everywhere. Some record stores over here. I don't know if anything's over there yet, but yeah, I mean, we're around on most digital platforms.
Well, we'll put the links to that. Some of the better links to that on the end of this as well, so that people know where to go to. But Jason, thanks for joining me this afternoon.
Graham, thank you very much. Have a lovely evening, my man.
And you. Bye for now.